Welcome back to Pastry Maestra. I'm Tereza and today I'm making Splitska Torta. Okay, now listen carefully and repeat after me. Splitska Torta, okay? So, Splitska Torta, meaning the cake of Split, is the delicacy I'm gonna teach you how to make today. But first, let me tell you a few words about the city that this cake was named after, my hometown of Split, Croatia. Now, I have a question for you. The city of Split is old, quite old in fact, so what would you say, how old is it? 200 years, 400 years maybe? What do you think? Well, whatever number came to your mind, I'm pretty sure that you were wrong, because the city of Split, Croatia is, wait for it, 1700 years old. Yes, you heard it right, 1700, or 1700 years, or 1.7 millennia old. Now, is that old or is that old? It sure is, but hey, there's more. Not only that Split is an ancient city, but unlike many other cities, it didn't happen by chance, just like that. No, it was built on purpose and on demand. And when I tell you who was the person that ordered this ginormous building endeavor, your eyes will pop. It was none other than Gaius Aurelius Valerius Diocletianus, also known as the Roman Emperor Diocletian. How about that? And it gets even better. You see, Diocletian was the first Roman emperor ever who decided to retire. Imagine that. On May 1st, 305, he voluntarily abdicated the position and became a pensioner. Wow. Okay, you'll say that's interesting, but why do we care? Well, I'll tell you why. You see, the Roman emperor, the big boss, couldn't just move to some ordinary house or a retirement community. He was an emperor after all, so he needed a palace, right? And here comes the biggest wow. You see, of all the places all over the vast Roman Empire, Diocletian decided that his retirement palace was to be built where? Well, right here where I stand today. That huge, lavish, magnificent palace was the nucleus, the heart of the city today known as Split, Croatia. How about that, I ask you? How about that? Naturally, the emperor had a huge staff, you know, servants, soldiers, craftsmen, and so on, and they needed food. Fish, meat, fruits and veggies, so one thing led to another, and before you could say Splitska Torta, around the palace community took shape. It grew, and today we are some 200,000 strong and growing. Nothing impressive in comparison with, say, New York or Mexico Ciudad, but the city of Split is the second largest city in Croatia, right after the nation's capital, Zagreb. Not bad, I say. Anyway, when you have a lot of people in one place, and we all know that everybody has that famous sweet tooth, things start to happen. So, figs are sweet, right? We have fig trees all over the city. What goes well with figs? Well, nuts, I would say. No problem, almond trees are also everywhere. Let's not forget grapes. These are sweet, sure, but what is even sweeter? Raisins, of course. Now we are getting there. What else we can use? Eggs, of course, sugar, naturally, and some butter, and voila! Splitska Torta is here. Easy peasy, I'll show you in a second. So let me teach you how to make a delicious traditional split dried fig and almond cake, better known as Splitska Torta. As usual, the recipe is on my site and the link is down below. To make sponge cake, I've put finely chopped dried figs into a bowl. I will add raisins, ground almonds, roughly chopped almonds, and stir well to combine. Next, I'll make French meringue from egg whites and sugar. I'll put egg whites into a bowl of a stand mixer fitted with whisk attachment and mix on medium speed. When soft peaks form, I'll gradually add sugar and continue whisking until meringue becomes firm. I will add dried fruit mixture into the meringue. I'll gently stir with a silicone spatula until combined. Then I'll add orange zest and sifted flour and continue mixing until incorporated. Make sure you don't overmix the batter. I've equally distributed the mixture into 4 bowls, about 160 grams, which is 5.6 ounces each. I will fill 2 16 centimeters, which is 6 inches in diameter, cake rings. Then I will smooth the mixture using my small spatula. I will repeat the procedure with the remaining mixture, so at the end I will have 4 sponge cakes in total. Then I'll bake them at 180 degrees centigrade, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 20 minutes until nicely golden. To make French buttercream, first I need to make pâte à bombe mixture, which is a mixture of whipped egg yolks and cooked sugar syrup. I'll place egg yolks into a bowl of a stand mixer fitted with whisk attachment and start mixing on medium speed. I'll put sugar and water enough to cover the sugar into a saucepan and put the lid on. Once my syrup boils, the steam will wash down sugar crystals from the sides of the pan and I will remove the lid. I'll insert the probe of my digital candy thermometer into the syrup and continue cooking until it reaches 118 degrees centigrade, which is 244 degrees Fahrenheit. At that point, I will pour the syrup carefully into whipped egg yolks without turning off my mixer. It is important to pour the syrup between the whisk and the side of the mixing bowl. Be very careful, because if you pour the syrup directly on the whisk while it's working, it could splatter your hands or face with hot sugar syrup and you could get serious burns. Once all the syrup is in, I'll continue whisking pâte à bombe until it cools down. My pâte à bombe has cooled down to room temperature, and now I'll gradually add softened butter and continue mixing until the mixture becomes smooth and creamy. My buttercream is done, and now I'll add vanilla powder and mix well to combine. I've distributed my buttercream into 4 bowls. 3 bowls containing 100 grams, which is 3.5 ounces each, and 1 bowl containing 250 grams, which is 8.8 ounces. To assemble my cake, I've put first sponge cake onto a plate, and now I'll lightly brush it with the kirsch liqueur. I will put 100 grams, which is 3.5 ounces of buttercream onto the cake, and then I will smooth it using my spatula. I will place the second sponge cake onto the cream. I will brush it with kirsch liqueur. Again, I will put another 100 grams, which is 3.5 ounces of buttercream onto my cake. I will smooth it using my spatula. I will repeat the procedure once more. I will place fourth and final sponge cake on the top. Then I will smooth the sides of the cake using my plastic scraper and place the cake in the fridge for about 20 minutes to chill. Now I will take some more buttercream using my scraper. I will fill the gaps and smooth the sides of my cake. I will place some buttercream on top of the cake and smooth it using my spatula. I will repeat this until I get the perfect shape. I will pipe buttercream rosettes onto my cake. Then I'll decorate it with some fresh figs. I will stick some roughly chopped almonds along the sides of my cake. There, my Splitska Torta is done. Enjoy!
Oh baby, you are so sweet, so delicious and yummy, so good to eat. I wanna lick you, feel your sweetness on my lips. Forever and ever, you'll stay on my hips.
I'm Teresa. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you liked it. If you want to stay in touch, follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and of course, visit my site, where you can find elaborate posts with lots of pictures, additional information and recipes that follow my every video. Also, on my site you can download my free 365 pages ebook The Pastry Chef and maybe buy me a macaron if you think that I've earned it. Now, before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That really helps a lot. Finally, and this is the most important thing, don't forget to create sweetness every day, because sweetness is happiness. See you in my next video. Bye!